Good evening and welcome. Tonight is Monday, November 24th, 2025. This is a regular meeting of the Minnetonka City Council. I will ask you to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Larson, would you please call roll?
Foster Bolton.
Here.
Shack.
Here.
Wilburn.
Here.
Calvert.
Here.
Romaley.
Here.
Coakley. Here. Weirson.
Here. Next item is approval of the agenda. I believe we have an addendum. Mr. Funk.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Wearsum. Good evening, Council. Two items for your consideration this evening. First is item 14B, which is a resolution for the Minnetonka Boulevard Trail Project. There was public correspondence received after the publication of last Thursday's packet, and that correspondence is contained in your addenda. And then the second is item 14C, which is a resolution awarding the sale of general obligation utility revenue bond series 2025B. Bids on that GO utility bond were received earlier today. Attached in your addenda is the day of sale report and the updated resolution that contains the winning bid and the associated bond terms. There's a red line version of that resolution attached in your addenda, which is for your ease in distinguishing the changes within that resolution that came out in the packet last Thursday. With that, there is a recommended action from staff that a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Funk. Is there a motion? Councilmember Calvert.
Thank you, Mayor. I move approval of the agenda as amended.
Councilmember Romaley.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Calvert and a second by Councilmember Romaley. Ms. Larson, please call roll.
Foster Bolton.
Yes.
Shack.
Yes.
Wilburn.
Yes.
Calvert.
Yes.
Romaley.
Yes.
Coakley. Yes. Weirson.
Yes, motion carries. Next item is approval of minutes, and we have two sets. I think we can handle them both in one action. 5A is the September 15, 2025 study session minutes, and 5B is the November 10, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Any comments or motion? Councilmember Romaley.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe there was some minor corrections to the minutes that I discussed with Mr. Funk this morning, and I don't think we need to detail them if those were made.
Correct. Mayor Wearsum and Councilmember Romaley, that is correct. We discussed the change in the minutes. Staff reviewed those, and as they are written correctly.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much.
All right. And
I can make the motion.
Please do.
I make the motion to approve the September 15th, 2025 study session minutes and the September 15th, and the November 10th,
Right.
2025
I probably
meeting.
forgot to read that. I said we could do both, and then I only read one, I think. So we also have the November 10 regular meeting minutes, and we can do both at the same time.
And both at the same time.
Very good. All right. Thank you. And Councilmember Calvert?
Thank you, Mayor. I second.
All right. A motion by Councilmember Romaley and a second by Councilmember Calvert. Ms. Larson, please call roll.
Foster Bolton.
Yes.
Shack.
Yes.
Wilburn.
Yes.
Calvert.
Yes.
Romaley.
Yes.
Coakley. Yes. Weirson.
Yes, motion carries. Next item is special matters. And for 6A, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Funk.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening again, Council. Before we begin with this recognition, I really want to just take a moment to reflect on Mayor Wearsum and what he has meant to Minnetonka. Mayor, you have shaped this community in ways that will be felt for decades through your leadership, your steadiness, and your genuine care for people. It's been my real honor and pleasure to work alongside you, and I know that many of us have been inspired by the way you approach public service. I also want to note, and I think hopefully you saw this reflected in the staff report, that our entire leadership team contributed to this report, including our former city manager, Geraldine Baroni. I love writing staff reports, says no staff member. But this was different because what we'll hear in the coming minutes truly reflects a legacy of excellence. So for tonight's presentation, we will begin with the formal recognition, followed by comments from, we have a number of guests here this evening that will comment. That would be Senator Ann Johnson Stewart. We have Hennepin County Commissioner Heather Edelson, Luke Fisher, the Executive Director from the League of Minnesota Cities, Representative Patty Acom. I believe we also have Representative Alex Faulkner also coming, and also Senator Steve Swedzinski. Afterward, the council will offer some comments, concluding with Mayor Wearsum. With that, Ward 2 Council Member and Mayor-elect Rebecca Shack, will you please present the formal recognition? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Funk, and Mayor, if you would allow me to please indulge you in reading the staff report, and I will let everybody know. Bear with me. It's lengthy, but it doesn't even scratch to the surface of the 23 years of service that Mayor Wiersum has provided to the community. So, when I was a kid, I always had the desire to lose my voice. I've been talking all day, so hopefully my childhood dreams don't come true tonight. Brad Wiersum was appointed to the Minnetonka City Council in 2002 to fill a one-year vacancy after responding to an advertisement in the local paper. He was subsequently elected to the council 6 times, serving 4 terms as the Ward 3 council member from 2003 to 2017 before being elected mayor. Brad was re-elected mayor in 2021 and has proudly served the city of Minnetonka and its community. Mayor Wiersum has made numerous contributions to Minnetonka and the surrounding area over the course of his career, demonstrating a commitment to effective governance, community well-being, and long-term city planning. He has played an instrumental role in shaping Minnetonka's administrative leadership, helping to hire 2 city managers and working closely with each to advance shared goals, strengthen community partnerships, and support staff across the organization. He has consistently fostered a collaborative relationship with the city manager, partnering on initiatives, championing priorities, and reinforcing excellence in public service. In recent years, he also helped lead and approve the creation of the DEI and Sustainability Commissions and the staffing necessary to support them, emphasizing inclusion and effective city governance. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Mayor Wiersum guided Minnetonka through difficult decisions, ensuring residents had the resources, support, and information they needed to stay safe and healthy to the best of his ability. Mayor Wiersum has been a strong advocate for in-house legal services and equity-focused programs. He championed the Just Deeds program to help residents remove discriminatory covenants and supported initiatives that promote fairness and inclusion. He also played a key role in reaching a settlement with Clear Channel that significantly reduced the number of billboards in Minnetonka, improving the city's visual character and protecting neighborhoods. In 2018, Mayor Wiersum helped approve a franchise fee ordinance that created Minnetonka's first dedicated funding source for trail expansion, a top community priority. Recognizing that meaningful progress required a stable, long-term funding stream, he supported and adopted gas and electric franchise fees despite controversy. This foresight allowed the city to deliver several high-value trail projects along Plymouth Road, Minnetonka Boulevard, Excelsior Boulevard, Hopkins Crossroad, and Ridgedale Drive, enhancing pedestrian and cyclist safety. Mayor Wiersum has also been a steadfast supporter of public safety. In his eyes, public safety is job number 1 of the city. He consistently attended public events and firefighter award banquets, showing appreciation for their service and advocating for firefighter mental health. The police department particularly acknowledges his leadership in advancing critical initiatives, including development of a new public safety facility, the Drones as First Responder program, and the adoption of key recommendations from the Public Safety Master Plan. His commitment strengthened the infrastructure capabilities and long-term strategic direction of public safety in Minnetonka. In addition to public safety, Mayor Wiersum has championed parks, recreation, and natural resource initiatives. He strongly supported the purchase and operation of the Marsh, a forward-looking decision benefiting residents' long-term well-being. He also emphasized sustainable public works and infrastructure planning, promoting water efficiency measures that reduce city use by approximately 1 billion gallons per year, and overseeing long-term improvements in pavement management, traffic safety, facility upgrades, ADA compliance, parks, fleet management, utility infrastructure, trail expansion, and capital projects. In 2001, one of the hallmark accomplishments of this period was the passage of a $15 million parks renewal and open space referendum. Once Brad joined the council, he strongly supported both the initiative and its subsequent implementation, which enabled renovation of more than 40 parks across Minnetonka, guided by extensive neighborhood engagement, acquisition of land and improved public space along Minnehaha Creek, including the creation of the Headwaters Park with its canoe launch and boardwalk, and the expansion of Minnetonka Mills Park with walking trails and botanical gardens. Acquisition of the Cullen Nature Preserve with a permanent conservation easement under the Minnesota Land Trust. His approach to natural resource management, including invasive species removal and park stewardship, showcased his ability to combine attention to detail with big picture thinking. His relationship building skills enabled strong partnerships with local, regional, and state organizations, helping leverage external funding for projects with Hennepin County, the Minnesota Department of Transportation, Three Rivers Park District, and the Metropolitan Council. Notable projects under his leadership include the Highway 169 to Bren Road Londonderry interchange replacement, the 394 westbound on-ramp improvements, Ridgedale Drive roundabouts, and the Tonka Woodcroft reconstruction, which was the largest in city history. Fire station and ice arena rooftop solar installations, and a citywide solar garden program, and leadership on the Trunk Highway 7 Coalition to improve highway safety on Highway 7. Mayor Wiersum has consistently prioritized the financial vitality of Minnetonka, overseeing growth in market value from just over $7 billion to $13.6 billion during his tenure. Early projects included Lifetime on 101, a grocery store in Glen Lake, and the Comcast building in Opus, followed by the United Health Group Towers, Cloud9 Housing, and Boom Island Brewing. Major development areas included Glen Lake, Opus, and Ridgedale. Housing production and affordability have been central to his work, exemplified by his service on the Board of Homes Within Reach. Under his leadership, nearly 4,000 multi-unit housing units were constructed in the last 10 years alone, with 22% of those designated as affordable for 30 years. Behind the scenes, he personally engaged with countless residents, ensuring the city responded to community needs with care and thoughtfulness. His thoughtful engagement with all that he interacted with made clear his deep dedication to the community. Above all, Mayor Wiersum loves Minnetonka and its community. In addition to his mayoral duties, Mayor Wiersum has actively served in numerous regional and statewide organizations. His involvement includes the Metropolitan Association of Municipalities, the League of Minnesota Cities, including time as president during a very difficult year, COVID year, the Municipal Legislative Commission, and the West Hennepin Affordable Housing Land Trust, Family Housing Fund, and the Minnetonka Charter Commission, among others. He is the past president of both Metro Cities and the League of Minnesota Cities, and has also served as the co-chair of the Regional Council of Mayors. Throughout this work, Brad was known for testifying compellingly before the Minnesota legislature, consistently advocating for issues of critical importance to local government. His voice is widely respected for its clarity, conviction, and deep understanding of municipal needs. While serving on the city council and as mayor, it is estimated that he attended over 800 official meetings and acted on 7,000 agenda items. These numbers do not include public engagement appearances, ribbon cutting, special meetings, or constituent outreach. Throughout his more than 2 decades of service, Mayor Wiersum has exemplified integrity, collaboration, and a deep commitment to the community he loves. Brad approached public service with a strong desire to do what is right, with grit, honesty, respect, heart, and compassion. He did not shrink from adversity or controversy, often taking hard votes with a long-term view. He showed up, he was present, he never lost his enthusiasm, energy, or joy for serving Minnetonka. On behalf of the community, the city council, and the city staff, we express our gratitude to Mayor Brad Wiersum for his years of devoted service, thoughtful leadership, and unwavering commitment to making Minnetonka a thriving and welcoming place for all. And Brad, you know this one well, so we're going to do this up here just because we're going to try to limit the moving around. So I'll come over to you, and we'll turn on your microphone here.
All right, it's already on, so
All right.
you might have heard me muttering under my breath.
So this, as you know, is just a small token of our appreciation for the many, many years of service to the community and frankly to the state of Minnesota. As we read often, this is wood reclaimed from a majestic American elm tree at the Minnetonka Mills Park. And I've got the little stand.
Thank you, Mayor-elect Shack.
Yeah, you'll have a moment.
All right, well, do you want me to do that now, or do you want me to do that later? I'll do it later.
Mike set us an agenda, and we're going to follow it. So,
We've got a run-on show, and don't mess it up.
but we know that you want to have time for comments, so we have that. Next, we're going to hear from some of our esteemed local leaders, and we'll start with Senator Ann Johnson Stewart.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor-elect. So glad to see you and all of my friends on the council. You know, I am so proud to live in Minnetonka. It's such a great place, and it's so evident by our council and the work you do, mostly evident by our mayor, Brad, and it's just been my joy to have you as my mayor for the last X number of years. You know, I came running in from class, so I'm a little late, and I apologize. So I actually missed. How long have you been mayor?
I'm in my 8th year as mayor.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to be inaccurate. So I have had the pleasure of having you as my mayor for 8 years, and I appreciate that. Again, Minnetonka is a great place to live and a really great place to know that the best interests of your constituents are being considered all the time. And I've had the joy of working with Brad for 2 terms. In Senate District 45, we have 15 mayors. We have done a really good job of working together and meeting monthly. And I just want to thank Brad in person for the leadership and for the resources that you've brought to that group, along with Mike, frankly, and all of you for supporting that. You know, of the 15 cities, Minnetonka is by far the largest. And that doesn't mean the most important, but it does mean the most resourced and the most able to provide help and guidance and expertise. Brad certainly does that, and you have been a leader for that group, and I know you'll continue to be a leader as you roll off. Just today we met and you pledged, and I didn't forget and I wrote it down, your help on Highway 7 and on a couple other issues that we continue to work on. I just want, again, we don't have a lot of time, thanks to Mike, but I just, again, want to thank you. You know, Brad, I've always enjoyed very much our time together. You're just exemplary. You're such a dedicated public servant. I know I will continue that relationship with Rebecca, but it's just been really a pleasure. Your expertise is well shared and it's well demonstrated, and I'm so grateful for that. Most of all, I've appreciated working with a fellow Packer fan, frankly. Yes. And so, oh wait, I wasn't supposed to say that. But
it's all right. It's not in my campaign literature.
I know. You know, us Wisconsin folks find each other. But anyway, it's just been a joy, and I know I don't have a lot of time, but I just want to emphasize how much I appreciate the leadership you've given to our mayor group, but mostly for me, helping to understand the community better has been really valuable. So thank you. Enjoy your retirement, and I'm going to be calling you frequently. So thanks.
Thank you, Senator.
And I don't have
Appreciate
a present,
it.
but...
So I don't need presents, but
okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I don't know who's next. Heather? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Well, Mayor Wiersum, thank you, and council members. It's great to see you all. I'm Heather Edelson. I'm the Hennepin County Commissioner. Brad, you and I met about a year and a half ago, or that's how long I've been in this role. So I will keep I have a whole Rebecca, well done on council member on all of the things. I'm just going to cross off everything here. I think I'll never be as accomplished as you. I looked over at Patty Aiken and I was like, wow. But one of the things I just want to share over the last year and a half of us working together is just a story. I think stories really tell who people are. There was a time just a few months ago where there was this young woman who was a student, and you were working with her, and she needed to get her waiver approved so that she could get stable housing in Minnetonka. And so Mayor Wiersum called me and he said, Heather, I have a problem and I need your help. And so you gave me her name, you called me the next day, we started to work on it, and then you got the entire community surrounding her. And I now know that she does have housing because you and I have talked about it multiple times. But when you think about public service, it's so much more than about the accomplishments that we make, it's the lives that we change. And that's who you are. You are somebody that I hope you reflect in 15 or 20 years down the road from now and think about how many lives you've changed. And so I do have a present here for you. And I just want to read what the award says. So on behalf of Hennepin County and our District 6 office, this award recognizes your authentic and dedicated leadership, which summarizes in the engraved quote that is on this plaque here. The quote says, "What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone, but what is woven into the lives of others." Congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you.
I'll give them to you.
Thank you. Well, I'll take those, and I don't need presents, but I do accept this. And I will say that. It's not my turn to speak, I know, but I just have to say that the young woman that I've helped is here tonight. She's sitting next to my wife, and that's Ellie Swanson. And I will say, Councilmember Coakley said that it was okay if I cried tonight, and I'm really going to try hard not to. But if there's anything that does, it's the fact that Ellie's here, and I was able to assist her with a lot of help from a lot of people. So thank you so much, and pardon me for ruining the run of show.
We'll hear from Luke Fisher. Sorry, Patty. From the League of Minnesota Cities next. And we've got a few.
It's really dangerous when your organization advocates on behalf of cities to the legislature to jump in front.
Well, we're gonna take Representative Acom last, so you're
There we
just gonna
go.
sit tight, okay?
There we go. Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm Luke Fisher, Executive Director at the League of Minnesota Cities. We're an association that represents 842 of the state's 856 cities, and we do that in a way that's deeply aligned with our members, and that alignment comes through service from people like Brad and many others who make sure that we're focused in on the right things. Tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit about Brad, his service to our organization, but his service to elected and appointed officials across the state more generally, if that's all right. You know, Brad is a leader's leader. He's someone who's contributed to the local government community for many years. You can hear that in the way he talks about cities. He often says, if you've seen one city, you've seen one city. What does that mean? But when Brad says that, he appreciates what makes each community unique. Brad mentors people. Elected and appointed officials across the state have benefited from conversations with Brad about things that matter. And he's engaged on statewide issues of importance like public safety, infrastructure spending, and good governance. Brad has been involved with the League of Minnesota Cities for more than a decade, and I think that that's pretty remarkable. He started with our Fiscal Futures Committee, where he served for 7 years, making sure that the fiscal state-local fiscal partnership is strong and paid attention to important tax issues and tax questions through his service there. But he also served on our board of directors from 2015 until 2022. Brad, you have the honor of something that a title that we hope only one person has, and that is our pandemic president. We never want to have another one ever again. But through that time, you really helped make sure that we were focused on the things that mattered as an organization in a time of tremendous uncertainty. Now, during Brad's pandemic presidency, we weren't able to get out and see people the way that we normally do. But that didn't slow Brad down one bit. Together, he and I logged hundreds of hours and thousands of miles driving across our state, talking to folks about the issues they were encountering in times of crisis, in times of uncertainty. And it was in those hours and miles in between our stops that I really got to know who Brad was. We'd usually talk about things as we were driving around between cities that we're all going to avoid on Thursday. Religion and politics, right? We'd talk a little bit about that. But we'd also talk about the things that we should be talking more about, our family, our friends, and our hopes for the future. And it was in those conversations that I got to appreciate the tremendous character that Brad has that really makes him special and unique. He told me about what it meant to be a father to daughters with special needs and the obligations that come along with that to help others that are navigating hard times. He talked about the importance of really listening to people, and he told me countless stories about the times that he heard someone's story and he changed his mind or he changed his opinion. What a novel idea in our politics today, right? He also showed me what it meant to believe in something deeply and to not change your beliefs just based on the winds of the day. And you could see that in the way that Brad stood behind public safety in really hard and challenging times. When it wasn't popular to do, Brad, you stood up and you did that. Now, I think we've all probably heard that John Wooden idea before, that character is who you are when no one's watching. And I can tell you, when you're driving between Thief River Falls and Moorhead, it feels like no one's watching and no one's there. But Brad, I got to see the very best of your character through those conversations, and that's something I appreciate so much. So on behalf of our board of directors, on behalf of our 856 cities in Minnesota, something like 8,000 local elected officials and all of our staff, thank you so much for everything that you've done, and job well done.
Thank you, Luke.
All right, I'm going to, how about Mayor Patrick Hanlon from Hopkins?
Greetings, Mayor Hanlon.
Mayor Wiersum, Mayor-elect, council members, thank you for having me. It always feels like being with family, being over here in Minnetonka, and it doesn't feel that way in every city I go to. And I think that speaks a lot to not only the relationships that our staff have had over the years, but also culture starts at the top. And you have always treated us very well. The leadership that you have had, not only for your own city, but our city, the residents of our city and in our region. You've been a great mentor to me from day one. As soon as I was elected, you reached out, we had coffee, and you've always been there every time any issue has come up. I call you, and you're there to answer the phone. You have been so generous with your time. You've consistently been an advocate for the West Metro voices, that we be heard on public safety issues, on light rail transit. And I also learned in having a lot of phone calls with you and a lot of conversations that you have a much bigger heart than you like to let on. From supporting affordable housing, youth programming, the conversations that we've had, and making sure that the future youth in both of our cities are in good hands. And then the latest courageous stances that you've taken on gun violence have been a real inspiration for myself and others that is so needed in times as these. Your leadership is going to be missed here in Hopkins, in the West Metro, and then after meeting with Mayor-elect Schacht today, I believe you've also left your city in very good hands. So I'm excited to continue this relationship with you. I hope you get a lot of time up at your cabin, because you have put in so much time. The numbers that you talked about, you have always been so responsive, and I've just known you from the leadership roles that I've seen you in, and there's so much more. So you deserve all of the time at your cabin to enjoy yourself, and I hope you do. Thank you for all the public service that you've given to your city and to Hopkins, the region, the state. And in Hopkins, we don't do awards, but the next round is on me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
And we'll hear from Representative Alex Faulkner.
Welcome.
Well, hi. Representative Alex Faulkner. I have the privilege of representing both parts of Eden Prairie and Minnetonka. Thankfully, I only have 2 mayors that I have to that I get to work with. 15 seems like quite the load. But I've in my very short time as a state representative, I have appreciated working with you. You've been so responsive from our very first meeting to just an email a couple of days ago advocating for desperately needed services for disabled people. Your passion is clear and evident. You wear it on your sleeve. The care for the community that you have is evident, and the city is so much better off for it. I mean, as the list of accolades that Mayor-elect read off during your tenure, I mean, if I were reading that resume from a person's shoes I was about to fill, I'd be sweating some bullets right now. So you've got a bit of a journey ahead of you, but I'm sure you'll do great. But tonight, you know. Mayor, this is about you. Just congratulations for 8 years dedicated to community service to the people of Minnetonka, and for making this place just such a welcoming city for the entire community. So thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Senator Steve Swazinski.
Hi, everybody. I agree with Alex. Wow, that big shoes to fill. I just want to say, you know, the mommy turkey was getting ready for Thanksgiving, and the children were running afoul of the law and using foul language, and up to, you know, anyways, they were troubled. And the mother finally looked at these two kids that were using foul language and running afoul of the law, and the mother said, if your father could see you now, he'd be turning over in his gravy. Well, anyways, I just wanted to say two things about you, Mayor. These are Thanksgiving jokes. You feel free to use them.
We're good.
Or not. Well done. There's one thing I admire in you. Well, there's two things I admire in you, but one is your listening skills. That you always seem to look a person in the eyes and you listen to them. And you had the integrity to say if maybe perhaps you didn't see eye to eye, you didn't agree, but that you listened. And I think that's missing somewhat in today's politics is that elected officials, we need to listen. We need to listen to people that maybe we don't agree with. And I've always respected and admired that in you. But the thing I really, truly, and you mentioned, I think you used this word twice, Mayor-elect, you used the word joy. And I don't know how to pronounce the word, but there's this concept called joy de vivre. I don't know if I pronounced it right. It's a great word, though.
You know, I don't either. So we're even.
That's it. And Confucius, the Chinese philosopher, once said, choose a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And you bring a joy to every waking moment of your life, whether it's meeting me for coffee or an adult beverage or meeting me in your office for neither of those two items. And but that you would just bring that passion and enthusiasm and exuberance to every waking moment. And if every single public servant could somehow bring that amount of joy and pleasure and rapture to their every waking moment, just imagine the possibilities for our nation, our city, and our country, and our state if more of us brought that joy and passion that you bring to every day of your life. And thank you, and I'll never forgive you for that.
Thank you, Senator.
And Representative Patty Acom, who is one of our, and Mayor Wearsom's former colleagues, so I wanted to save her comments for last.
Well, welcome. Glad to see you, Mayor. Thank you for letting me come to say a few words. And I will say, it feels like coming home. This is where my elected career started about 15 years ago. And, you know, Brad, you taught me what it was to be an elected official and how important it was to represent your community and the people that you serve. And so I thank you for that, and I thank you for always living that truth. And so I have appreciated your leadership in the city over the last many years, and in that time, some of the things that I've appreciated most are some of the traditions that Minnetonka has been known for a long time, and that's being involved with organizations like the League of Minnesota Cities and the National League of Cities. And I think that when I was first elected, the mayor then was Terry Schneider, And the only two on the council that would go to those things were me and Terry. And so it's so great to see so many involved, and it brings such value back to the community. And there's so many lessons you can learn from others. And so I'm so glad to see that that tradition is so strong amongst the ranks. And I know not all cities do that. And I'm so glad that under Brad's leadership, Minnetonka has continued to do that. I really also appreciate that Minnetonka is a strong partner with neighboring communities, some of which we've heard from tonight, and other jurisdictions. And I think that none of us live on an island, and so it's how we can work together with others to be able to accomplish those things that are important to us. And one of the things I'm really happy that you're involved with is the Highway 7 Coalition, and we know there's such a safety issue along that thoroughfare, and so I know that you have been a big part in moving that forward, so thank you for your involvement there. And what I will say that many others have also said is that you have always led with your heart, and you have represented the best interests of our community and our constituents, and you've always put them first. And so for that, I want to thank you for all of your years of service and all of the accomplishments, and that Minnetonka is a better city because of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're doing good on time, so I'm going to implore my fellow council members to keep on a good track, but we want to give them the opportunity to make some comments if they'd like. Who would like to start, or should we go down the line? Kizzy, would you like to start?
Sure. So I just want to say, I got to be really authentic with the mayor. And I always do. I've been serving with the mayor for 6 years. And people often ask me, how's it serving with the mayor? And I always say, I love serving with the mayor. And the reason why I love serving with the mayor, because he's so honest and he's so forward. He just say it like it is. And I really like that about him. I always tell folks, I prefer someone to tell me the truth. And I know when I'm talking to the mayor, he's going to give me the truth. There's been times that we didn't agree on things, and sometimes I'll be sitting here, I'll be upset, and then the mayor come back, and later after the council is over, he'll say, how you feeling, Kizzy? You all right? And I look at him in his eyes, because he's looking me in my eyes, and I say, I'm all right, Mayor. And we smile, just like we just did now. And so I just want to tell the mayor, I appreciate you for all that you've done for Minnetonka. I know the mayor loves Minnetonka. Our signs are the same. We're both Taurus. And they say Taurus are really strong people. Our birthday's a couple days apart. And when I see the mayor, sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'm really leaning to be more like the mayor, because he's done so great in our city. And I know he cares about our city. And I know he cares about people. And he really cares about people that have, disabilities, because it really sits close to his heart. And he just cares about people all together. So I really want to thank you, Mayor, for all you've done for the city of Minnetonka and all you've done for the state. And this is from my heart, because you always come straight from your heart. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Councilmember Foster Bolton.
Well, Mayor, it's only been 2 years, but it's, I remember when you're first elected to the city council, you spend a week in orientation, which means you go over all the departments, and they talked about drinking water out of a fire hose. And so I walked around in a daze, and so I was walking around here, and I had no idea, but the mayor's, your office was open, and you were in there, and I was like, and I kind of peeked my head in there, and you're like, come on, come in, sit down. And it was like, I can't describe it. I felt like, oh my gosh, I think this is going to work. And I think it's going to be okay. Because for so long, you don't know. And you said, you just have to remember a couple of things. And one is, don't take yourself too seriously, but take the city and the people of Minnetonka seriously. And it helped, because I think, you know, you do take your, like, ooh, I've got this big job, but my job is to serve the city. And I learned that from you. And really, every meeting, I think when you make your comments, I nod and say, oh yeah, that's a good point, that's a good point. So I've learned a lot, and thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Romali.
Thank you, Mayor-elect. Like Patsy Foster Bolton, Councilmember Foster Bolton, I am a sophomore elected in my second year, and like Patsy, I had not served on a board or commission beforehand, so I was totally green coming into city government, and somewhat terrified and somewhat overwhelmed, because indeed it is like drinking from about 5 fire hoses. I thought, given all the different departments, each one was its own fire hose. And I have to say that I found Brad always, as other people have said, to be a kind and generous and patient mentor. Even when we didn't always agree or see eye to eye, we always could talk things through and be honest with each other, and try to even convince one another, and if that didn't work, that was fine. And I always found Brad, and find Brad, it's not like he's in the past tense yet.
I'm hoping to be around for a little while longer.
But I've always found him a kindred spirit in that, you know, we're always brainstorming and thinking about new ideas and ways to help our community. And, you know, we would have coffee every so often and be able to bounce ideas off of one another. And we're talking about community investment funds and affordable housing and thinking outside the box. And for that, and for his patient guidance, I will be forever thankful, and hope he's not going far.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Councilmember Wilburn.
I'll try to be brief. And echo everything that my colleagues have said. My initial response to Brad when he shared with us that he wasn't going to be running for re-election was to thank you for your many years of service to the city of Minnetonka. It's clear that Brad loves the city of Minnetonka and its residents, and has a heart of service, and doing what's best for the city and its residents has always been at the heart of what he does. And Brad, you sometimes see other councils where disagreements turn into animosity, and people don't get along. And Brad is never, you know, what happens in council stays in council. Like we don't carry anything outside. I've never felt like, you know, there was a grudge held if we disagreed on something. And I appreciate the leadership and the tenor that was set for our council meetings and how we operate with each other.
Thank you.
Councilmember Calvert.
Thank you, Mayor-elect. Mayor Wiersum and I were elected to our current positions in the same year. And we had coffee together very early on that January, I think, around the time we were inaugurated almost 8 years ago. And at the time, there was a new president, and it was very clear that the world was going to change quite a bit. And I mentioned to him that I thought that we as a body and he as a mayor were going to have to make decisions and do things we never could conceive of, and that we were going to face a lot of unprecedented situations. And I think that turned out to be correct. But you know, we had COVID and everything that went with it, including changes to the economic and social fabric. We had George Floyd's murder and the social reckoning that continues today. We had changes in policy at many levels of government that affect the city, changes in the council makeup, changes in staff. We had political assassinations, we had school shootings, and we had the day-to-day challenges of meeting the needs of the city. And he always let everyone know where he stood, staff, council, our residents. He led with, moral clarity and personal integrity. And we in the city have benefited from his wealth of knowledge gained over his years of service. And there's a reason that proclamation was so long, but it's not the list of accomplishments or leadership activities that are astonishing. I consider myself very fortunate to have served with you during my entire tenure, and I'll miss you. And when you are in public service, you always hope to make the world better than you found it. And you lead with heart, but also your head. It's always working. You have a lot of good ideas. And he always said, you have to love the city to be a good council member. And it could not be clearer that you love the city and we love you back.
Thank you.
Well, I'll wrap it up and just say, you know, it's true that what everybody said or threatened. I definitely have big shoes to fill, but I'm so grateful. A city like Minnetonka doesn't exist by accident. It's strong leaders like Brad Wiersum and those that came before him, but definitely Brad, that have made Minnetonka and will continue to make Minnetonka the wonderful place to live, work, and visit. And we always strive for more and better, but we are great because of the people that have served the community before us and all of the dedication and time that you, Brad, have put into this community. And we'll miss you. You've been a tremendous friend and mentor, always available, always prepared to listen to my gripes or ideas or accolades, whatever it is, but your door was open, you're ready to schedule coffee, and I'm so appreciative. I will not live up to what you have, the standard that you have set, but I'm going to spend every day trying, and I know that you are not going anywhere, that you will be available to me and to the rest of us as a resource, and will continue to serve the city in whatever capacity we need, and I thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Mayor-elect Schaak, and thank you all. Is it my turn? Okay. All right. I wanted to make sure. You know, this is all a bit much. And I look around and I have family members here, and they know the truth. So that's a little challenging for me. And you know, I've got these kind of nice, brief, prepared remarks. But you know, you can't really prepare for all the nice things that were said. And I can say that it's not like Minnetonka was in bad shape when I got here. Minnetonka was in great shape. And I said, you know, people asked me when I first got elected, well, what do you want to get done? And I honestly said, I don't want to screw it up. And I mean, this is a great city. And when we got through the election, most recent election, and our council member Schaak got elected to be the next mayor, and our two sitting council members were reelected, I said, you know, this is a reaffirmation of the Minnetonka brand. People like living here. And, you know, I've said many times to people in conversation, you know, most people in Minnetonka have no idea who the mayor is. And, you know, my ego is not too big, I don't think, but that's a good thing. I mean, if we're doing things right, who needs to know who the mayor is? I mean, You know, I mean, you know, things run on time. We're efficient. Taxes aren't low, but they're a pretty good value. We get what we pay for in this city. People like living here. We have 28 square miles of the most beautiful land in the state. And we've got so much to be thankful for. And, you know, the Minnetonka brand is represented by all the people in this room. It's not just the elected officials. It's our staff is phenomenal. I was at the National League of Cities meeting this week, and I was talking to a supplier. And he said, you know, wow, Minnetonka. I love working with Minnetonka. It's just such a great city. They do such a good job. And I said, yeah, but you work with a lot of cities. He said, you know, a lot of cities are a hot mess. You guys do it right. And I love working with your staff, and, you know, they shoot straight. And so, you know, it's a real compliment. And it's not me. I'm part of it. But it's my fellow council members. It's our team. It's our staff. But it's all of you. It's the people who live in this community. We have a feeling of community, and we're proud of living here. And we're not at cross purposes. We may have different ideas on things, and we talk about them, but we do it respectfully. I mean, we have not had very many interesting council meetings because people come in here and they address us and they treat one another with respect. And they see that even though politically and so forth, we may vary quite a bit, we care about each other and we respect each other. And I think that shows, and I'm really proud of that. So I'm going to go back to my prepared remarks and just say a few things and I could say it in 2 words, and they are thank you. We have so much to be thankful for here. But I want to thank a few people or a few groups and just say a few things. It's an honor to serve this city as a council member and as a mayor. And I really, at the top of my list, I want to thank my family and particularly my wife, Karen. They allow me to do my thing. They don't get in the way. And they probably didn't believe half the things that were said tonight, but they have been enormously supportive. The Minnetonka staff is excellent from top to bottom. You know, my fellow council members, you know, both past and present, I learned from all of you. And the good work that I have done has been in large part because of what I've learned from you. I worked with 3 distinct and excellent city managers, John Gunyu, Geraldine Baroni, and Mike Funk. And, you know, you helped me learn the business, and you also helped me stay on track and in my lane. And that's good because I have a lot of ideas, and sometimes they're outside of my lane. You know, fellow mayors, and it was great having Patrick Hanlon here, but we have a great group of mayors in the West Metro, and we work together, and we respect each other, and we learn from one another, and we help each other. Minnetonka Police and Fire. I mean, everyone who knows me knows, well, public safety is job 1 in cities, just so you know. I may have said that, you know, a few hundred times before. But, you know, I just have so much respect for the work that you all do. You keep our city safe. You do it efficiently and expertly. And you do it below the radar. No mayor could ask for more than that. That's phenomenal. You know, but we have so many volunteers in the cities. You know, volunteers, election judges, board and commission members, seasonal and part-time workers, and residents. I mean, it takes a village, and we are one. We work together, and we are proud of our community. We show up, and we help each other. And this is a great community. And then we have volunteers and election judges. I mean, we just so many people that make our city great. And welcoming and dynamic. So, you know, I'm humbled. It has been a great ride. I've had the time of my life, and I hope that I have served Minnetonka well. This is a people business, and I like people, and you all make this all so interesting and rewarding. I greatly enjoyed representing our city as part of all the organizations you heard from, the League of Minnesota Cities, the National League of Cities, Metro Cities, the Municipal Legislative Commission, the Regional Council of Mayors, and other organizations. I appreciate the opportunities that I enjoyed. And finally, last but not least, and I paid political announcement here, thank you to the voters of Minnetonka. You had the chance to choose someone else, and I am so thankful that I had the opportunity to serve you. I hope that I upheld my end of the bargain. Thank you again. All right. Well, that was item 5A. Now we'll move on to item 5B. But we'll just take a 5-minute break to let people who don't want to stay for the rest of the agenda, they don't have to stay. So thank you all.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. That was for a picture, but we probably should get back to work here. All right. Yeah, that was for dramatic effect. All right, we'll call the meeting back to order. And item 5B is 2025 Small Business Saturday proclamations. And I have chosen to read that one myself because I strongly support this, and I'm excited about it. So this is a City of Minnetonka proclamation for 2025 Small Business Saturday on November 29, 2025. Whereas the City of Minnetonka celebrates all of our businesses, but recognizes small businesses as the engine of our total economy as employers and providers of products and services, and whereas the Small Business Administration celebrates Small Business Saturday to recognize the hard work and ingenuity of everyday people who start and grow businesses in their community, for their community, and whereas the City of Minnetonka supports these entrepreneurs all year long, including through our work with Hennepin County's Elevate Hennepin initiative, which offers expert consulting, focused cohort programming, and a library of resources at no cost for every resident and every business. We also promote shopping at our small businesses via the multi-jurisdictional Love Local campaign, which encourages residents to support local independently owned businesses and business districts that create jobs, boost the local economy, and make our communities vibrant and livable. So, be it resolved, the Minnetonka City Council does hereby claim November 29, 2025 Small Business Saturday in the City of Minnetonka, and encourages all those who live and work here to celebrate our local small businesses on this day and throughout the year. So thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
can we play a video? We have
it's right.
We have a
Note to self.
commercial that's been made by communication staff, and then we have some people from community development that appeared in the video. So go ahead and roll.
Well, excellent. Thank you for the reminder.
video. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wishnack.
Saturday, November 29th is Small Business Saturday. It's our opportunity to thank the hundreds of small businesses that make our local community thrive.
In Minnetonka, our small businesses create jobs, support vibrant neighborhoods, and give back to our community.
These businesses are where Minnetonka residents love to eat, shop, and play.
When you buy local, your dollar goes a long way to investing in our community.
So this Saturday, love local and shop at Minnetonka's small businesses.
Very nice. All right, and I don't think we've read the proclamation. We don't have any action to take there. The next item is reports from city manager and council members. Mr. Funk.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Good evening again, Council. I have 4 things for you this evening. First, just a shout out to our Williston Fitness Center staff. Recently, our staff earned the prestigious tennis award, congratulating our Williston Fitness Center for receiving the 2025 United States Tennis Association Northern Member Organization Award. This is an annual award given by the U.S. Tennis Association Northern Chapter, which represents Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and parts of Wisconsin for Williston's outstanding service by our club, our tennis association. It celebrates our tennis staff's dedication, passion, and outstanding contributions to the sport, and have truly made a significant impact on its growth and development. We know our tennis program is strong. There's another evidence by our staff over at Williston for the work that they do, and really appreciate their efforts. Also then coming up is Lighting Up the Commons. This is our season-inspiring event that's going to be held on Saturday, December 6th, from 4:45 to 6 o'clock p.m. We have some communications that mention 5 to 6, but really kind of kicking things off slightly before 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock at the Ridgedale Commons. That's at 12590 Ridgedale Drive. There's going to be candy hunts. There's a DJ dance party, hot cocoa, bonfires, all the fun stuff for that for that evening. So encourage anyone to show up. It's been a fun event in previous years. Then also want to mention Highway 7. That came up earlier this evening, just on Highway 7 and Minnetonka's role in Highway 7. We are helping solicit feedback from our community. We've been posting that across many of our social media channels. So if any resident wants to chime in and provide feedback, there is links on our website and throughout a lot of our correspondence to MnDOT. So there is that study happening right now looking for feedback, and there's certainly a lot more that will happen in the years to come, obviously, with Highway 7, but right now is a pretty vital part, so we encourage residents to provide any feedback. And then last, just want to mention that Mayor Wiersum's open house is scheduled for Tuesday, December 16th from 3 to 5 o'clock p.m. So we'll be pushing out communications to that. That is open to the public, obviously, and we look forward to that event. There will be more of a formal presentation starting at 4 o'clock, but there'll be a 2 o'clock window of time from 3 to 5 for the community to come and celebrate Mayor Wiersum's retirement. So with that, Mayor and Council, turn it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Funk. So, council members, any reports that you all would like to make? Councilmember Foster Bolton.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to give a shout out to ICA. And today I went and did bagging for tips. So I went to Cub and bagged groceries for folks, and they could donate to ICA. And just to let you know that they're doing it again tomorrow. And they need a couple of people from 12 to 3. And then also 3 people from 3 to 6. So you can go for 1 or 2 hours, whatever. It's, anyone can go. But the ICA does so much more than is a food shelf. Goodness, I have lists of things that they do. So, but also I want to shout out to all the bag people. Bagging groceries isn't easy. Stressful. Anyway, so just wanted to let you know that there's an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Foster Bolton. Anything else from other council members? Councilmember Calvert.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to keep it short. Shout out to our Williston staff. That is just another example of how great our staff is. And I'm sure several of us were at the National League of Cities in Salt Lake City this week, and it really, I just can't express just how wonderful it is to go there. I went to many, many sessions. We dealt with, anything from environmental policy to what you can and cannot do during open comment session in city council meetings to housing policy and just the challenges that face cities and problem solving for all of that. But I think the thing that was really most gratifying was the focus by the National League on civility. And there were some very moving and very informative presentations at the general sessions and elsewhere about civility. And so as we go into the holidays, and I wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, I hope we can go into the holiday with open hearts towards our own family and friends, and find things we have in common and love on each other. So happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Councilmember Calvert. Anyone else? All right, I've got a couple of quick things. We were at the National League of Cities, and it is, I'm really thankful that Minnetonka is a city that supports these organizations, and that we get our council members and staff members there because one, it's great networking. We get to know a lot of people, but in the comments I made earlier, we learn from one another. And I've always found in business that the best way to get to know somebody is to travel with them, because as Luke Fisher said, when you're stuck sitting next to somebody in a car or in an airplane, or sitting in the lobby of a hotel room, or the lobby of a hotel, you're not just talking about business. You're talking about your family. You're talking about your values. You're talking about what's important. And that is so valuable because we all know each other as individuals, not as council members and sitting up here and agreeing or disagreeing, whatever. It goes a lot deeper than that. And this is a people business, and so it's so valuable. I know it's not the cheapest thing we could do, but it is an investment, and I thank our taxpayers for supporting that investment because it makes us all better and it makes our community stronger. And so along those lines, we were awarded, we got an award at the National League of Cities in Salt Lake, and this is for the celebrating the fact that Minnetonka has been a member of the National League of Cities for 50 years. And we have a strong history of leadership in that organization. When I became a council member a long time ago, 23 years ago, Karen Anderson had just completed her year as president of the National League of Cities. And I go to National League of Cities meetings and people still talk about Karen's leadership and how Minnetonka is on the map. And you talk to people from around the country and they know about Minnetonka because of the leaders that we have had in that organization. And Councilmember Calvert is ascending, and she is she's involved in the Natural Resources Committee, and she comes back and makes reports from that committee. But Minnetonka is known and has a lot of influence. And so this award, it says, the National League of Cities honors the city of Minnetonka, Minnesota for 50 years of membership and dedicated service in shaping, advocating national municipal policy and strengthening our communities, November 2025, and signed by the executive director of the National League of Cities, and that is Clarence Anthony. And Clarence Anthony, I met him 25 years ago, or 23 years ago, and he was then the mayor of a little tiny community in Florida, South Bay, Florida. And I was in the sugar business at that time, and I said, I've been to South Bay, and we were sitting next to each other at a dinner, and we kind of built up, just kind of made a bond then, and I've known Clarence now for 23 years. He's a great leader, and I don't know how much longer, he turned 65 this past year, so I don't know how much longer the National League of Cities is going to have him, but he's an inspirational leader, and it was great to be there. So that's all I've got for tonight, so we will move on to the next item on the agenda. So that is item 8, which is citizens wishing to discuss matters not on the agenda. This is an open mic opportunity, and you can come forward and briefly share what you want us to hear. Share your name and address, and we will listen to you. We will not take any action on anything that comes forward in this part of the agenda. We will not take any action tonight, but we will refer it to staff and we will follow up with you and follow up on the matter. So is there anyone who would like to speak to us tonight? Good evening. Please provide your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Jada Silver. I live at 4052 Thrushwood Lane.
Very good. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, City Council members. My name is Jada Silver, and I'm a senior at Minnetonka High School. I'm here today as a member of the Youth Advisory Board for My Health Clinic for Teens and Young Adults, which is located in downtown Hopkins. Today, I'm here to talk to you about enforcing flavor bans for the sale of commercial tobacco products in the city of Minnetonka. During my time on the My Health Youth Advisory Board, I've learned about how commercial tobacco companies use marketing tactics to target youth and minority groups who are especially impressionable. One in particular that I'm here to discuss today is the use of appealing flavors. I've lived in Minnetonka since middle school, and for many years, the first thing I've seen when I walk into a local gas station is a wall of vibrant and colorful products in flavors such as blue slushy, orange creamsicle, tropical ice, peppermint, watermelon, and strawberry. These products are often sitting on the counter right next to where candy is being sold. They are sometimes even advertised before you walk into the store. Recently, I noticed a sign on the door of the gas station I frequent that said, Zinn Assorted Flavors, Save $2.50. As a teenager, I've seen so many of my peers fall victim to this advertising and become addicted to nicotine products. In fact, 76% of Minnesota youth who try a tobacco product for the first time do so using a flavored variant. Although the City of Minnetonka has an ordinance to prohibit the sale of flavored tobacco products in non-21 plus establishments, I've seen time and time again that this policy is unfortunately not being enforced. Among the 10 retailers selling e-cigarettes in Minnetonka, 100% were found to be selling a flavored version and 40% were found to sell more than 20 different flavors. For these reasons, I am here today to advocate for the City Council to enforce the city's policies on the sale of flavored tobacco products in stores that are not 21 plus and tobacco exclusive. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Good evening,
Good
council
evening.
members. My name is Nikita Natraj. I reside at 19890 Chartwell Hill. And I am also part of My Health Clinic's Youth Advisory Board, and I am also a senior at Minnetonka High School. Throughout my high school years, as well as a member on My Health's Youth Advisory Board, I have seen how my peers have been personally affected by vaping and e-cigarette products. At my first presentation on vaping education at 2 middle schoolers, one asked why more wasn't being done to limit access to nicotine products, as her uncle had recently died due to addiction. Hearing this story from someone so young really made it sink in how multifaceted this issue is and how many people are affected by the vaping epidemic. In my own high school, I have seen how bathrooms are filled with the smog of flavored nicotine products and their vapor, and the dysfunctional premise of vape detectors that oftentimes activate too late, creating confusion among students and fail to truly help those who may be vaping to find healthier mechanisms to cope. My little brother is a 5th grader at a Minnetonka elementary school, and he has already seen a few of his classmates get access to vapes and quickly become addicted. As vapes continue to target younger and younger demographics, it is critical that we move towards action that limits their accessibility and appeal to children and adolescents, which is why I urge you to support a flavored tobacco ban.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, council members, mayors, whatever is in between. My name is Chloe Zhao. I'm also a senior at Minnetonka High School this year. And I know my peers and a lot of previous speakers have already talked about the harmful effects of nicotine and tobacco, but I also wanted to touch on our Minnetonka's policies specifically. So currently, we have a flavor ordinance that only allows flavored tobacco products to be sold in tobacco stores that are for those 21 years of age or older. But the reason why I'm here today is because I've seen that fall flat, and I've seen a lot of the harmful impacts of that too. In fact, I've personally faced some of those harmful impacts. So growing up, my dad was a chronic smoker. He's gotten out of it since, but I've seen just how easy it is to buy tobacco here in Minnetonka. I'd often go into the gas stations with my dad to get a slushie for myself, and then we would walk out back to the car with a pack of cigarettes in our hands. It's really just easy here in Minnetonka. It's just show your ID, pay, and then leave with it. But I know we've already heard a lot from other speakers about how this accessibility, it can normalize tobacco and nicotine, make it easier for others to get into it. But I also wanted to highlight kind of the perspective of anyone who's in those shoes. As a kid, and I think a lot of people have this too, there's a notion that tobacco is harmful. I couldn't have told you what the specific effects were as a kid. I knew it was bad for you, and I think that's what a lot of people think today too. So it's always been hard for me as a kid, kind of standing next to my dad and knowing that he was hurting himself. But I could barely even see over the countertop, so there wasn't really anything I could do. My father's never been to a tobacco store, and I know lots of others haven't, because it is a lot harder to go out of your way. But it's really easy to just turn the corner and go into a gas station or a convenience store. So this policy is something I really wish I had as a kid. I hope youth of the future can have it too.
Thank you for your comments. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Caleb Schultz, and I live at 4401 Wilson Street in Minnetonka. And I'm here to speak on the 5-year failure to enforce the tobacco flavor ban. I'm speaking tonight as a physician, public health advocate, member of the Board of Trustees for the Minnesota Medical Association, the Minnesota Public Health Association's liaison to the Minnesotans for a Smoke-Free Generation Coalition, a member of Tonka Cares, and as a parent. The last time I spoke from this podium was in 2018 on my now 13-year-old son's 6th birthday, testifying in support of Tobacco 21. I became aware of the flavor ban enforcement lapse after a presentation at Tonka Cares meeting in February, where Hennepin County staff showed July 2024 retailer checks indicating that every store was selling flavored tobacco products. Police officials were present at that meeting. I brought this information to the mayor in April in a meeting with Mayor Wiersum, Mr. Funk, and Ms. Wishnock. Despite clear evidence of non-enforcement, retailer behavior did not change, as confirmed by compliance checks conducted by myself and other local advocates. We filed numerous reports through the city's online portal, receiving either no response or significant delays. Over the following months, advocates contacted city officials repeatedly with the same concern. Given ongoing concerns, we decided to speak out in the public forum of the City Council open comment. Like the high schoolers tonight and the 6th graders last meeting, I spent 2 hours yesterday performing compliance checks at 15 locations around Minnetonka, where I continued to find flavors being sold. At some retailers, they described a future deadline by the police department, which seemed curious given that the deadline was 5 years ago. So, why does the failure to enforce the flavored tobacco ban matter? Well, according to the National Cancer Institute, 4.7% of people ages 12 to 25 initiate tobacco use each year, almost always with flavored products. Minnetonka has roughly 7,200 residents in this age range, meaning that about 340 young people start using tobacco each year. So over 5 years of enforcement failure, 1,700 young people in Minnetonka started using tobacco, likely flavored and likely sourced from our city's tobacco retailers. 1,700. Finally, this whole process has made me concerned about the status, about the state of our city governance. How many other ordinances are not being enforced? Who is accountable for 5 years of inaction, and where does responsibility ultimately lie? While I know there will be no action taken based on open comments tonight, I have the following requests. I request a transparent, independent, external review to determine what went wrong so that this will not happen in the future. Secondly, I'd like to extend my support, along with other advocates, to any elected official who wishes to further advance tobacco prevention policies in the city. And finally, I request for you to consider the formation of a community health board to assist the city in becoming a healthier community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz, or Dr. Schultz. Is there anyone else who would like to make any comments tonight? Is there anyone? All right, thank you. We will move on. Next item is bids and purchases, and we have none of those tonight. Item 10 is the consent agenda, and the consent agenda items are items that are typically routine. I will read them into the record, and we will vote on them all with one motion and one vote, unless someone either on the council or in the audience would like to pull an item, then we will consider that item separately. So item 10A is consent agenda. Item 10A is an ordinance amending sections 130.005 and 130.010 relating to members' appointments and terms of the Senior Advisory Board. And item 10B is an ordinance amending section 150.010 relating to the terms of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion DEI Commission members and establishing transitional terms. Would anyone like to pull this, or is there a motion? Councilmember Calvert.
Thank you, Mayor. I move approval of the consent agenda items 10A and 10B.
Is there a second? Councilmember Coakley.
I'll second.
All right, we've got a motion by Councilmember Calvert and a second by Councilmember Coakley. Ms. Larson, please call roll.
Foster Bolton?
Yes.
Shack?
Yes.
Wilburn?
Yes.
Calvert?
Yes.
Romalee?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Wearsome?
Yes, motion carries. Item 11 is consent agenda items requiring 5 votes. We have none of those tonight. So item 12 is introduction of ordinances. We have one. It is an 12A is an ordinance amending City Code Section 710.005 regarding certain fees. And Ms. Wishnack, Ms. Thomas isn't here. Ms. Wishnack.
Ms. Thomas prepared the report. I said she could have the night off, so I will present her
Very
information.
nice of you.
Yes. Really, this is an ordinance that is doing what we do every year at this time, which is go through our fee schedule. Community development just is the kind of conveyor of all the information, and so that's what we're presenting to you tonight. There is a couple of things regarding dangerous animal registration. The existing fee is $50. We're proposing that to be $100. Commercial kennel licenses from $70 to $75. Alarm registrations going from $20 to $25. And remember, those are the police alarms, not fire. So later on, we have a different agenda item that deals with fire alarms, not the same thing. I think security alarms in this case. And then the false alarms for the actual alarm itself, 50 and a 50 for each additional call. That's going to change from 100 to 100 and 100 for each additional. Now, I understand that's because the service that interacts with the police have raised their fees, and that's to cover the cost of those fees. So hopefully that helps you understand why some of those costs need to be increased. In another area, this is directly related to the community development work. This is the inspection of state licensed facilities. There's been a change in how the state requires the city's interaction in terms of looking at state licensed facilities, and we were not being paid for that service, and it does take time for us to provide that service. We're proposing a $100 fee, just nominal, enough to get enough coverage for someone to inspect the facility. And then secondly, and this is actually citywide, but we run a lot of credit card payments through our department, but also other departments as well. We have a max limit of $5,000 that you can do by credit card, so that we, as a city, don't pay as many fees for those charges. However, it is a little bit more efficient if somebody wants to choose to pay that extra fee. We can go ahead and take their credit card. So 5% is the fee for charges over $5,000. So with that, we are asking that you simply introduce the ordinance. If there are additional pieces of information you need to make your decision or questions you may have, I'm happy to answer them or bring them back at a later time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wishnack. Councilmember Calvert.
I have a super quick question, which I forgot to ask Mr. Funk this morning, and that is, what is considered a dangerous animal?
That would be Mr. Nielsen.
Mayor, Councilmember Calvert, the really dangerous dog statutes are in Minnesota State Law, Chapter 347.50 to 56. The city has a corresponding ordinance that essentially parrots state law on the definitions, although it references that everywhere that the word dog is used in the ordinance, it refers to animal more broadly in our ordinance. And so a dangerous dog / animal, the definition, and it's got there's sort of a two-tiered system where there's a designation of a potentially dangerous dog that has a definition and then has certain requirements for an owner to maintain the dog, and then further a dangerous dog, which is more than that. But just for potentially dangerous dog means a dog that, when unprovoked, inflicts a bite on a human or domestic animal, when unprovoked, chases or approaches a person, including a person on a bicycle, in an apparent attitude of attack. And then third has a known propensity, tendency, or disposition to attack unprovoked, causing injury or otherwise threatening the safety of humans or other domestic animals. And so there's a lot of There's a lot of enforcement discretion that's imbued in that definition that goes to our animal control officer here in Minnetonka. That's Deanne Bloom. And so I've worked with her occasionally on these issues and in terms of applying appropriate enforcement.
Councilmember Calvert?
So just to follow up, so basically this is just dog license. Is that, and I think the assumption is that any dog is potentially dangerous, and so you're supposed to register your animals.
This is my understanding. This is different. So there is a city has the ability, the authority to establish a dog licensing system with a fee for licensure. The fee for a dangerous dog registration is separate and distinct, and state law gives cities the authority to impose that fee as separate and distinct. So you're not limited by, in the traditional realm, when you're setting a municipal fee, you're limited to generally the costs of city issuance, administration, and enforcement in terms of where you set the fee. That would be true for the licensing fee. State law also allows, if you have a licensing fee, state law also allows this additional dangerous dog registration fee. And so that is what is proposed to be raised here. And the reason for that is because there are additional steps that animal control must take in order to administer the dangerous dog designation. There's also the potential for an individual to request a hearing to essentially appeal the designation that the animal control officer has made. And we have had a couple of those this year as well.
Any other questions? Councilmember Coakley.
I guess I'm kind of curious about, I had asked the same question earlier today too to Mr. Funk. I guess I'm just more curious about, you said the animal control, so it sounds like maybe if there's an incident or maybe a couple incidents, the animal control go intervene, and then at that time, the animal control kind of decides if this animal dog is warranted of a dangerous animal, and then that's where the fee get initiated at. Is that what's happening, or is it automatically someone, I mean, because I don't think people are going to be coming to the city saying I want to register my dog as a dangerous dog. How do that get implemented? I guess that's my question.
Sure.
Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilmember Coakley. There is a requirement in state law and ordinance that if your dog has been designated as a dangerous dog in another jurisdiction, that you are required to then register it if you move to Minnetonka with that dog. But you're correct. The animal control officer in the field uses their discretion to enforce the ordinance and the definitions that can lead to a potentially dangerous dog declaration or a dangerous dog declaration. And of course, due process is imbued in the whole thing. So when those declarations are made, an individual does have the ability to appeal that designation. And there's a hearing before an administrative hearing officer who will either uphold the city's designation or overturn it. And then when the designation is upheld, there are then requirements that an owner must maintain. So for example, microchipping, if it hasn't been done in the past, for potentially dangerous, for example, they have to maintain the animal under leash restraint not exceeding 6 feet at all times when the animal is off the owner's premises. And then when they're on the premises, there has to be a fenced enclosure. And so those designations, the declaration in the first instance or the dangerous dog designation creates these obligations for an owner to maintain the dog.
Thank you for the clarity. It makes more sense now, because I was just like, it didn't really make sense at first, but now that you explain how we got there, it makes more sense now. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I've got a couple. One, do we have a sense for how many dogs in our city qualify as dangerous dogs? Or how many have been registered as dangerous dogs? Chief, sorry about that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mayor Wearsome. I don't have that answer.
Okay.
But I believe it's maybe less than 1 or 2.
Yeah.
There isn't many.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen too often.
Right.
I'll
Okay.
find out for you though.
Okay, so when you said 1 or 2 a year,
That continue, because I think so once you're designated as a dangerous dog and you still reside in our city, every year you have to renew your license. And so I think that would consider other ones, not each year you add more.
But just not many.
Correct,
Yeah.
but I will get that answer.
Okay, well, and it's not the most important question I've asked, but thank you. Yeah, and then it is interesting. I thought the definition was pretty clear. I think I shared an incident one time when I was walking my little dog, my 14-pound Schnauzer, and we were walking by this family, and this golden retriever kind of jumped on my dog and picked it up in its mouth, and it took me a long time, and she was fine, but she did have a puncture wound, and we didn't report it, and it's the classic thing in cities. One of the things we deal with is that no report, it never happened, and that's it. I mean, I remember it very well, but there's no record of this incident ever occurring because I didn't report it. And I think that if people are concerned about safety and about if issues like this happen, you want to be nice, but we really should support it or report it because that information makes a difference. And we have systems in place to help keep people safe and deal with those sorts of things. But if it doesn't get reported, and I will admit I did not report it, I didn't even think of it. But it's good to know that we're taking this seriously. So enough on that. This is an introduction. Would anyone like to move to introduce this ordinance? Councilmember Wilburn.
I move we introduce the ordinance. I've lost my place.
12A.
12A, yeah. I move that we introduce the ordinance amending the city code section 710.005 regarding certain fees.
And Councilmember Mailey.
I'll second.
All right. Got a motion from Councilmember Wilburn and a second by Councilmember Mailey. Any other comments from anyone? Or Ms. Larson, would you please call roll?
Foster Bolton?
Yes.
Shack?
Yes.
Wilburn?
Yes.
Calvert?
Yes.
Vermaley? Yes. Coakley?
Yes.
Wearsum?
Yes, motion carries. Item 13 is public hearings, and we have one. It is an on-sale intoxicating liquor license and Sunday on-sale intoxicating license for Minnetonka Barbecue, Inc., doing business as Famous Dave's Barbecue Shack on 14601 State Highway 7. Ms. Wishnack.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Again, this is a quick change of ownership for you to review tonight. I wouldn't say it's a quick change, meaning the owner has actually been there for about 25 years. So this is a longtime owner, now transferring to a Mr. Lear, who would own 100% of what would be called Minnetonka Barbecue Incorporated. He has had other experiences with various restaurants, including Famous Dave's, and would take over the business. He also does meet the requirements of the city code to act as general manager for the facility. This is just the first part. Oops, somebody moved my... There we go. The first part of our action, you would have to continue the public hearing. I'm going to say, can you just not put December 22nd as the date? We had talked about that meeting not occurring. So maybe just say continue the public hearing to a date undefined, and then I think we can.
Can we say to the next regular council meeting?
I have to look at the date, so.
Okay, never mind. We'll
Yeah,
just leave it open.
Just
Very good.
say continue the public hearing, and I think we should be good. With that, Mayor, I'll turn it back to you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wishnack. First, council, any questions for staff? All right, then I will open the public hearing and offer the opportunity for anyone to come forward if they want to comment on this, but trust me, it's not necessary. But if you'd like to, please come forward, state your name and address, and let us know what you'd like us to know.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I feel honored to be here this evening based on what's going on. I've been an operator of
And your name and
Oh, I'm sorry. Adam Lear. I live in Orono, but I was a former Minnetonka resident, and then I've done business in Minnetonka for years with Barbecue Holdings as the parent company that owned Famous Dave's, as well as this restaurant we're speaking of. And I'll reference somebody else that I have done business all over the world, but specifically in Minnesota, and you guys run a top-tier organization. The approval process and dealing with city members at Minnetonka is unparalleled compared to other cities. It's, I think somebody said a dumpster fire in some other cities, and I would agree with that. So
I think I said a hot mess, but you get the idea.
Synonymous with one another. So I just want to be present and be available if there are any questions for me. But I am purchasing the restaurant. I'm currently an executive with Barbecue Holdings. I'll be resigning as an executive and then purchasing this restaurant as an individual. So I'll continue to operate as a Famous Dave's. Nothing's changing, everything's continuing on. I love the city, love the brand, and so looking forward to continuing on with a great relationship.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that. I'll ask the council if they have any questions for you. I don't think we do. I'll just throw parenthetically, I personally love having Famous Dave's in Minnetonka, and I know that we're a reasonable customer because I've been to several meetings over the years where we serve your food, and it's always well done. So thank you.
Appreciate that, and look forward to continuing that relationship.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So this is. Let's see, we continue this public hearing, so I'm not going to close the public hearing. Is there anyone else who'd like to comment? Seeing no one, council, we just need a motion to continue. Councilmember Shack.
Thank you, Mayor. And I will say, I hope the summer event continues that you have been doing. It's a lot of fun. I went the first time this year and definitely we'll go back. But I will make the motion to continue the public hearing to a later date and to council meeting to be determined for final consideration.
Thank you. Is there a second, Councilmember Calvert?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll second.
All right, a motion by Councilmember Shack, Mayor-elect Shack, and Councilmember Calvert. Ms. Larson, please call roll.
Foster Bolton.
Yes.
Shack.
Yes.
Wilburn.
Yes.
Calvert.
Yes.
Romalee.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
Grierson.
Yes, motion carries. That takes us to other business, and we have a few items. Item 14. So 14A is certification of delinquent utility charges and fire alarm response fees to the Hennepin County Auditor. And Assistant Finance Director Joel Mary will make that report. Mr. Mary, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Happy to be here tonight to discuss item number 14A for our annual certification of delinquent utility bills. And this year we also have some fire alarm response fees as well. I'm gonna move the slides here. Hold on 1 second. All right. So looking for a motion for those. So this year's outstanding delinquent utility collections are $324,954.09, along with $4,125 of delinquent fire alarm response fees. So a little bit of background on the process and some of these numbers here. All the accounts to be certified have been, all of the account owners, property owners, and customers have been notified in writing. And they've had at least a month to pay, actually in most cases a lot longer than that as well. Utility billing, we start that certification process in August. And some of those fire alarm fees have been from earlier in the year as well. So typically the actual accounts that get certified aren't what you're approving here tonight. They're typically a little bit lower just because of the timing of when we need to produce this list to get it in the council meeting and when the due date is for Hennepin County on December 1st. So I was actually looking earlier today and it was about $30,000 has been reduced already. So over the last few business days. So it'll be a little bit lower than this, but as of that listing, we were a little bit lower by about 7 accounts this year, or 1.6%. And then we have 17 delinquent fire alarms this year that have not been paid. A little historical chart here just for comparison. Compared to the last 6 years, you can see kind of ebbs and flows year to year, but overall, it's fairly steady within that range. So the appeal process, we did make customers aware in the letter that was sent out that they had the right to be heard in front of council, but we have not been notified by anyone. But if there is anybody here, we would afford them that opportunity this evening. So, and staff is recommending adoption of the resolutions, authorizing the certification of the delinquent utility charges and fire alarm response fees to the Hennepin County Auditor for 2026 property taxes. And with that, I'll yield back to you, Mayor and Council, for your discussion or any questions you may have.
Very good. Well, thank you, Mr. Mary. Council, any questions? Pretty straightforward. Good to hear that numbers going down a little bit since the report was completed. So we need a motion to Councilmember Calvert.
I make the motion to, this says adopt the ordinance, this says introduce the ordinance, so introduce the ordinance. Yeah, on the screen it says
Adopt.
Yes.
I think we're certifying.
Yes.
So we need to adopt the resolution.
Yes, so adopt the resolution authorizing the certification of delinquent utility charges and fire alarm response fees to the Hennepin County Auditor.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Calvert. Is there a second? Councilmember Wilburn.
I second.
All right. We've got a motion by Councilmember Calvert and a second by Councilmember Wilburn. Ms. Larson, please call roll.
Foster Bolton?
Yes.
Shack?
Yes.
Wilburn?
Yes.
Calvert?
Yes.
Romalee?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Wearsome?
Yes, motion carries. Item 14B is a resolution for the Minnetonka Boulevard Trail Project. And Mr. Manchester, that's you.
It is. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight is the Minnetonka Boulevard Trail Project. I did want to note Mr. Phil Olson is here, our city engineer as well, who's working on this with his group. The motion tonight is to adopt the resolution accepting plans and specs and then authorize the ad for bids for the project for your consideration. The infrastructure and asset management strategic profile is relatable. This is a top priority segment and it aligns with our 5.3 enhanced safety, walkability, and connectivity of the city's trail system. The project is on Minnetonka Boulevard from Tonkawood Road to the marsh, just to the west of us currently. Just a little bit of background on the trail improvement plan. So in 2018, the city added a gas franchise fee to accelerate some of the improvements and work on more trail projects at that time. At that time, the city chose a number of implementation segments and a priority system. And it included nature of use, community access, cost effectiveness, and then degree of difficulty. So we could rank the segments, present to council, and then incorporate into our CIP to look at the priorities of these segments. As an example, the segment before you tonight, you can see a number of the top segments have been completed to this point. This segment is included in that, and an example of the ranking system and how each segment was ranked and looked at as a whole. This segment tonight does complete a route between County Road 101 and Shady Oak Road, so this would be a missing link between there. And it does provide access to businesses, school, and city buildings. A little bit more of the history. This segment was part of an original Fairchild Avenue to the marsh. In 2020, council did reprioritize that with the park board at the request. That was incorporated into the CIP. With that revision in 2023, the segment just to the west of this was completed with the Tonka Woodcroft project, and now this would be the adjacent segment to the east of the previous. You can see kind of the original segments on the top, orange and yellow, and then how the segments were then later proposed in the CIP in 2023 as approved, and then before you tonight, the 2026 segment on the bottom right. On February 10th, the council did adopt the resolution that accepted the feasibility report, ordered the improvements, and then authorized the plans and specs, as well as easement acquisition. At that time, they also authorized the execution of an agreement with Xcel Energy for the overhead burial in advance of the trail construction. Project is funded in the 2026 to 2030 CIP. There is one outstanding item, as mentioned in the report. We have applied for additional funding through Hennepin County, which is pending, and we would certainly update council if we were to be notified of that request. Some existing photos just to the west of us. The proposed improvements, it's 0.8 miles for this trail segment. The project proposes an 8-foot width trail on the north side of Minnetonka Boulevard. It does propose adding concrete gutter to support the trail, similar to what has been constructed to the west. There is stormwater management. Part of the stormwater management does include the pond that was constructed in the previous segment, as well as green space boulevard areas to catch stormwater. There are a few retaining walls and railing that would need to be constructed just due to topography. On Hennepin County's Minnetonka Boulevard, it would include a 5 to 6 foot on-road bike lane in addition to the trail. So we would do a little bit of restriping in the area. And all this work was coordinated with Hennepin County, including the pedestrian crossings that I'll talk about in just a second. And then the overhead burial, as you approved previously, there's been a lot of work out there. That has been CenterPoint Energy redoing some of their gas main as well, which has been a lot of the impacts this summer. The overhead burial does include the power and the communication. There's a number of other small utility companies that are related to those power poles that are listed here. The city would assist in burying service lines for the project. With that work, it would require new transformers, cabinets, and boxes as that work would take place. And then, as mentioned, CenterPoint has been on site doing a lot of work out there currently. There's 2 pedestrian crossings that I'll talk about. There is one being proposed to add to this project at Sussex, be on the eastern side of the intersection. It would provide for as you can see in the picture, signage and a median in the center of Minnetonka Boulevard for a pedestrian refuge. It would be push button ready. We're not proposing any flashers at this time, only because we do look at the warrants of the crossings. And at this time, it does not meet that from what we've studied. Certainly it would be ready to add in the future if that were to be something we would want to do or a council would choose to do. There are existing crossings to the east and the west at Tonkawood and Williston as well. With the project, we are proposing to update the existing crossing that was installed in 2023 at the mall. So if you recall from the project previously, we noted the pedestrian refuge would be added with signage similar to what I just noted, and we would study it in the future to see if crossings were to increase and meet the warrants they have at this point. And so we are proposing to add a rapid flashing beacon, so it would be a push button flasher at the mall following the study from the previous. The project does require easements. There's about 5 easements for this project that are needed. We have been in contact with property owners at this point, and that process would be ongoing. As with projects this type, there are construction impacts. Traffic control is needed. We'll be maintaining construction access for property owners. There's garbage mail deliveries. Those would all be coordinated with property owners, and access would be maintained. Construction hours would be 7 to 10, generally Monday through Friday. There are impacts to driveways, landscaping, turf, irrigation systems, private utilities similar to a project of this type, as well as trees. And we will continue to evaluate those as we work through the design and work with property owners directly. The informational meeting, as mentioned last time, was held in September of 2024. Council did see this project in February of this year. Tonight before you is your consideration for final plans and to authorize us to move forward with bidding. Bidding would occur in early 2026, and then the project would begin in 2026, summer, late, probably early summer, likely, if the council chooses to move forward. Just some before and afters of the other side of the project, which many of you are probably familiar with. Similar to other projects, we would continue our communication work with our administration folks. We would do text, email updates, newsletters. We do signs just to make sure folks are able to sign up and are aware of the project. So recommendation tonight is a motion to adopt the resolution, accept plans and specs, and then authorize the ad for bid for the Minnetonka Trail Project number 26305. And with that, I'll turn it back to the Mayor and Council for any questions. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Manchester. Council, any questions first and then or comments? Councilmember Wilburn.
So you talked in your description. You talked a little bit about like why this is going in, but I just wanted to address the addendum, the correspondence that is asking why we're doing a trail on the north side when there's a trail on the south side of Minnetonka Boulevard in that section. So can you talk a little bit about what is actually on the south side versus what's going to be going in on the north side and why?
Mr. Manchester.
Sure, Councilmember Wilburn. And Council, you know, we evaluate the entire project when we come in with a project of this type, and so we're proposing the north side primarily to meet you know, the connections are currently on the north side to the west. And so we want to continue that through. As far as the south side, you know, there's some segment there. Our goal is generally to make a continuous segment through here, which is why we propose the north side to carry everything through and make sure we're safe. You know, we provide those crossings that I talked about here and we've done in the past just to make sure we can get access to the neighborhoods as they can get to the trail. But we try to keep it consistent all the way through if we can.
Other questions? Councilmember Mailey?
Thank you, Mayor. So basically, this is kind of a public safety issue to kind of have that contiguous segment because we already have it going all the way essentially from Minnetonka Boulevard and 101 almost now going all the way to Tonkawood, and we want to have that continuing all the way, you know, to the marsh and then eventually probably extending that further. Is that correct?
Correct, Councilmember Mailey. Yes.
And you know, basically we don't have flashing button signals and, you know, for various reasons. It's just, it's not, yeah, public safety and also just feasibility.
Correct.
Thank you for clarifying that.
All right, any other questions or comments or, you know, I'll just throw out a comment. You know, this segment has been a pretty high priority for a long time, and it was a number of years ago that this segment had higher priority than the segment that has been built that goes to Groveland School from Tonkawood. And residents and particularly, I think, the Ward 3 council member advocated for flipping the priority because I think as part of his campaign, he talked to a lot of parents and they were very concerned about safe routes to schools. And by flipping these and doing the west portion first, that went right to Groveland School, and there was significant benefit to a lot of school-age children who benefit from that trail. So we changed the priority, but the intention was always to have these two trail segments. To me, are very vital. And I read the residents' concerns, and the LRT trail is across the way, but the LRT trail is a different ball game. I'm really glad we have it. That's a Three Rivers Parks trail. But from, you know, as we look at our community, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, more walkability and bikeability safely is, to me, a big priority. And I think our community survey indicates that that is very consistent with, you know, the needs and kind of wants of our residents. So while I certainly respect the resident who wrote, and he made some fair points, I think the public safety aspects of getting this trail done and having a completed trail where you can walk, run, or bike conveniently and comfortably from Highway 101 all the way to the marsh and to the, by extension, the city center, I think is tremendous. I mean, it's an expensive trail, but it adds significant utility to our trail system and really benefits our residents. So I'm strongly supportive, and I think the rationale is all there. But Councilmember Shack.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, I agree, and I didn't get a chance to respond to that email today, but I would point out, as you were commenting, really what that does is it completes a full trail all the way from 101 to Hopkins Crossroad,
yes.
Really. And that gets people safely. I mean, I know people who bike to Dairy Queen. I mean, this is a really critical missing segment that I think is a gap in safety for bikers, walkers, and runners. So I feel like we made a good decision on putting this up next on the agenda, or on the priority list.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilmember Calvert?
Just very briefly, and I know that our staff understands that our desire for that distinctive Minnetonka tree canopy feel, the boulevard feel as we go down these main thoroughfares. So just urging, you know, as we go through this project, to preserve as many trees as possible, which is one of the things that gentleman brought up. And I'm sure that we will, and hopefully the offset of lowering our greenhouse gas footprint, our carbon footprint by people using the alternative transportation will offset the hardscape and so forth.
Very good. Councilmember Mailey.
Thank you, Mayor. Just as the Ward 3 representative here and somebody who lives very close to this segment, I would just like to point out that actually from the Grays Bay boat launch, there is a trail that already starts, which is near my home, that'll be able to take people all the way continuously from that segment around all the way to 101 and Minnetonka Boulevard and then down and past. So this really is a significant thing that I am very happy about as the Ward 3 member for Ward 3 residents to have this safe access and not having to cross Minnetonka Boulevard, especially our kiddos on bikes. As well as pedestrians and others walking to school, but also, you know, taking that trail all the way from Grays Bay down to Dairy Queen even. So I think it's going to be a significant asset. And so thanks to staff for making that switch and also for getting us going on this. Looking forward to it.
Very good. So I made my comment after we got a motion and a second, correct? Ms. Larson, or did we not yet do that? Okay, we need a motion and a Councilmember Mailey.
Thank you, Mayor. I will make the motion to adopt the resolution accepting plans and specifications and authorizing the advertisement for bids for the Minnetonka Trail Project, project number 26305.
Is there a second, Councilmember Calvert?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll second.
All right, we've got a motion by Councilmember Mailey and a second by Councilmember Calvert. Ms. Larson, please call roll.
Foster Bolton?
Yes.
Shack?
Yes.
Wilburn?
Yes.
Calvert?
Yes.
Ramaley?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Wearsum?
Yes, motion carries. Item 14C is a resolution awarding the sale of general obligation utility revenue bonds series 2025B. And is that Mr. Mary or Mr. Nelson? Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Before you tonight is our utility bond sale for their 2025B bond. And it's for $10 million is what our bond issuance is. And so we will have, I'll go through our slides here quickly. So our staff recommendation is to a motion to adopt the resolution awarding the sale of our general obligation utility revenue bond series 2025B in the original aggregate principal amount of $10 million, fixing their form and specifications and directing their execution and delivery and providing for their payment. And 4 votes will be needed. As it relates to our strategic plan, this relates to our infrastructure and asset management area, and by issuing our bonds, it provides another financing source which will fund utility improvements aimed at the desired outcome of improving the reliability and efficiency of water and sewer utilities. And it also relates to our financial strength pillar as well too, with our Moody's AAA bond rating really helped us out on this bond issuance as well too. So we got to pick one, so I went with this one, but there could be other options there as well. So the financial consideration, obviously issuing $10 million in bonds, there is going to be a financial consideration. And so we will have to repay this principal and interest over time over the next 20 years. And we will do that through our water and sales and through user fees on that end of it. So a little bit of a background here. About a decade ago, the City Council adopted a long-term bonding plan and rates that support ongoing costs required to keep the city's aging infrastructure in appropriate working order. And so under this plan, this is about a decade ago, we've issued $37.5 million in bonds since 2015. Initially, this plan called for issuing bonds about every other year or so. Our most recent issuance was back in 2021, so that isn't every other year. So we've been able to kind of push that out about 4 years or so. We've been able to do that through a couple different reasons or rationale. First of all, we had a couple dry years in 22-23 timeframe, and so we made, it's not good to see a drought conditions on that end of it, but during droughts we sell a lot of water, and so that helped our revenues on that end of it. But also with that 2021 bond, we paid, our interest rates on that were remarkably low, historically low. I think they were 1.6% or so is what our interest rate on that one was. But we also received a large premium on that bond issuance as well. And so I think we received probably $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 of premium on that bond as well too, which helped us put those dollars into our reserves to help us with project costs as well down the road. So we've been able to delay that for 4 years. that's helped ratepayers not have to pay interest over that time frame as well too. So that's a good thing. So this bond will finance projects identified in both the 24 and 2025 CIP. And you may not recall, but a year and a half ago or so, the council did pass a reimbursement resolution authorizing a future bond issuance to repay or reimburse the city for costs incurred on those projects. And so we have about $13 or $14 million of projects identified in that 2024 to 2025 CIP that aren't all complete yet, but they're either in process or are complete at this point in time. So we will reimburse ourselves for those costs, and then we'll use any remaining reserves there or proceeds to pay future construction costs on that end of it. And the IRS requires that reimbursement resolution to be in place in order to maintain that tax exempt status of these bonds. And so earlier today, Elders took competitive bids for the sale of these bonds. So that closed this morning at about 10:30. And fortunately, we have Bruce Kimmel here, our financial advisor, or municipal advisor from Elders here to give us the results of those bonds. And I'm looking forward to hearing those great results. So Bruce, if you want to join us and hit the podium.
Mr. Kimmel, welcome. You had to sit through a lot, so thank you for being here tonight, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and that was not a long wait by City Council standards,
okay.
So no problems there. Mr. Mayor and council members, I'm Bruce Kimmel with Elders. It's nice to be with you tonight to share a little bit more detail on today's bond sale results. I will be referring to the sale data report that I believe is an addendum to this action item 14C. So as Mr. Nelson mentioned, we did take bids on the city's behalf today around 10:30 this morning, and we received a total of 9 competitive bids on this bond issue, which was really an outstanding result. Not only the number, but the bids were very tightly packed together, which just indicates an extremely aggressive bidding pattern and a lot of investment banks wanting to buy the city's bond issues. So that was a great result. And Piper Sandler, based here in the Twin Cities, was the winning bidder with a true interest cost of 3.53%. Not quite the 1%-ish that you had in 2021, but those were historically low rates. We'll probably never see those low rates again. And 3.5% for 20 years is still awfully good and is definitely a direct result from your AAA credit rating with Moody's. I would also note that even the last place bid of 3.7% was quite a bit better than our pre-sale result. We try to be conservative, i.e. a little bit high to avoid any unpleasant surprises, but the whole field of bidding outperformed what we would have anticipated, and that really speaks to, again, how attractive the city's bonds were in today's market. I did want to note, if I can go to the bid tabulation, we can see Piper's bid specifically there on the first page of the bid tab. And this bond issue might strike you as a little bit strange in that it's a $10 million bond issue. And that $10 million number is important because it allows you to deem these bonds bank qualified, which gets you a slightly better rate than non-bank qualified bonds would have. So that's a good thing. But this bond issue of $10 million will actually net the city $10.8 million in proceeds. And the reason for that is this premium bid that Mr. Nelson referred to in reference to the 2021 bond, and we had again today. So just really quick, you see the coupon rates on the bonds are mostly 5% and then down to 4%. But the yields are what really matter. And the yields you can see range from about 2.5% up to about, I don't have my readers on. Thank you. I should put my readers back on. And it's that difference between the coupons and the yields that generate that premium. The market wants higher coupon bonds. They think the market psychology is that in the secondary market, those bonds will be easier to trade among investors if they have a higher interest rate on the face of them. But everyone knows that, especially for a city like Minnetonka, your true borrowing costs shouldn't be anywhere close to that high. So they pay extra money per dollar of bond. They pay extra money on top of that dollar in order to have that higher coupon rate or face value rate. So that's essentially what generated that extra $800,000 of project funding which can then reimburse again for your 24 and 25 projects and potentially for other uses as well, and allow you to go a little bit further without having to bond again, although I would love to be back before you again. So great result. The next page shows the other 8 bids that were received. I would also just note the geographic diversity. You can look for yourself and see all the cities in which these investment banks are based. And it really goes to show that there is a national market for Minnesota bonds. There's companies all over the country that buy and trade these bonds. And we basically have too few bonds to meet demand, which is good for the city because when there's more demand than supply, investors are willing to take a lower interest rate than they otherwise would, which works to the advantage of the city and its ratepayers in this case. Lastly, Mr. Mayor and council members, we did include the final debt service schedules. You can see in the sources and uses the $10.8 million that the city will net from this bond issue, and then you can see the debt service over the next 20 years, which Mr. Nelson and his team have already accounted for in their financial projections. I would also just lastly reiterate how great your city's affirmed AAA rating was. I know you heard a little bit about that with your bond sale for the HIA project 2 weeks ago, excuse me. But again, it really just pays huge dividends for the city, its taxpayers and ratepayers. Your strong financial management, your reserve levels. We know that you are not a high debt community, and that's a great thing. You're able to pay for a lot of things with cash. But what I would just note is that your fiscal management overall just gives you a lot of flexibility going forward, whether that's with additional debt projects or not, but you're in great shape. There were really no red flags or even yellow flags with Moody's affirmation of the AAA, so congratulations on that. And I would be happy to take any questions, or you can take up the resolution to award the bonds to Piper.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Kimmel. First, I want to thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for the report. I'm not going to pretend to have the bond expertise that you have, but are there any questions, council, that you have for Mr. Kimmel? All right, I think we're good. I think we're going to get this passed, and I really appreciate your help. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, council, there were no questions, any comments, or a motion? Councilmember Calvert.
So when I walked in, I had forgotten to ask. I saw that the resolution had blank amounts, and I am so excited that our interest rate is so low. The whole premium thing is also very reassuring, and so I want to thank staff. We always take credit up here for strong financial management, but it's our administrators and our finance department that do that great work for us to get that AAA bond rating. So just great job.
Very good. Anything else or a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion to adopt the resolution awarding the sale of general obligation utility revenue bonds, Series 2025B, in the original aggregate principal amount of $10 million, fixing their form and specifications and directing their execution and delivery and providing for their payment.
And is there a second? Councilmember O'Malley.
I'll second.
All right. Got a motion by Councilmember Calvert and a second by Councilmember O'Malley. I will just add that I did see Mr. Nelson before the meeting, and he was quite ecstatic about the good results, and we share that opinion. Thanks to our finance staff and our team. Just another reflection of our sound and conservative financial management pays dividends to our residents and to all of us. So thank you. And with that, Ms. Larson, please call roll.
Foster Bolton?
Yes.
Shack?
Yes.
Wilburn?
Yes.
Calvert?
Yes.
Romalee?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Wearsum?
Yes, motion carries. Let's see the next item here. I got to pull this up. Mr. Kimmel, thank you very much for being here. Item 16 is appointments and reappointments, and we do have an appointment tonight, and it is the young adult appointment to the DEI Commission. And this application came in just recently in the last couple of weeks, and I called Ms. Nala Wesh to talk to her about the opportunity. She had a great-looking application, and she's a delightful young lady, and she's very interested in being part of our DEI Commission. So with that, I will make the motion to approve her appointment, and I'm hoping I can get a second. Councilmember Wilburn.
I will second.
All right, we've got a motion by the mayor and a second by Councilmember Wilburn. Ms. Larson, please call roll.
Foster Bolton?
Yes.
Shack?
Yes.
Wilburn?
Yes.
Calvert?
Yes.
Rameli?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Wearson?
Yes, motion carries. So that brings us to item 16, and quickly, this meeting took a little longer than I anticipated tonight. But I just want to thank all of my council members and thank our staff. There are a lot of nice things said tonight, and as I was listening to that, I was a participant. I was not. It takes a team. This is a people business, and it takes a team, and it takes a village. And we've worked together to make our city great, and I'm flattered that I could be part of this group and this organization. And this is not the last meeting, and it's not the last you'll hear from me, but I just want to thank you all so much. I'm truly humbled and truly appreciative of all of you and the opportunity to work together, and thank you so much. So with that, Councilmember Wilburn, a motion?
I move adjournment.
And is there a second, Councilmember Calvert?
I second.
All right, a motion by Councilmember Wilburn, a second by Councilmember Calvert. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.